So all of you know today that I've been on the Facebook all day because I was a little upset over Phil Robertson and A&E kicking him off of TV. And I don't like it when you single anybody out. People that single people out are bullies. And I'm going to call you on it, and it ain't cool. Now, you can single me out because I'm the only one wearing a cowboy hat on the night. Shucks, we can single you out because you're the one with the wool jacket on the night. We can single Brody out because Brody's wearing a Chicago Bulls hat. We could single you out back there because, well, you wore shorts tonight. Or you had orange tennis shoelaces. Or you wore blue sneakers. Or Brianna wore a green shirt. Or your shoelace is untied. It's not. Made you look though, didn't it? Made you look. We've all been singled out, and I don't like that. And so one of the things that I decided that I was going to do was I was going to make friends with a bully. The bully of my class. Now, this is going to kind of pick up where we left off last week. We were talking about being bullied. I got in a lot of fights because I didn't like people singled out, so now I'm going to make friends with him. Now, shortly after my grandfather committed suicide, my world started to fall apart. And back in the 70s, parents started getting divorces. Some of you guys have probably been through it a couple of times with your parents. Hopefully some of you will never ever have to go through it. It's not fun. But nobody in my class knew anything about it. Well, I'd come home from school, and guess what? I'd go fishing, because I didn't want to be around when my dad and mom were screaming at each other. And it wasn't very long, and the bully goes, where are you going? He saw me leaving school one day. Now, granted, I'm just in 7th grade, with a fishing pole in my truck. Where you going? Going fishing. You don't know anything about fishing. I'm going, are you kidding me? I have 10 miles of creek running through my place, and I start counting up. I got 14 ponds and 7 springs on my place. Are you kidding? I grew up fishing. Was I good at it? Nope. But I grew up doing it. And so I started fishing, and that's how I made friends with the bully. Now, I'm going to advance on in the story to the point in my life where I started ranching on my own. When I graduated high school, my dad said, well, it's only a short amount of time. And I'm thinking, short amount of time? Oh, I'm planning on living to be 90. I thought, well, it's short about 90. Guess what I got? And this is why I don't ever have birthday parties, guys, because I've had a couple of surprise parties, and they had a surprise party for my birthday. This was after I graduated. And before the party was over, my buddies were all going to hang out with me that night. I was turning 18, and back then 18 was legal age to drink beer. My dad let us have some beer. We were going to go to the creek and go noodling. It'll be a good old time. Brody, you've been there noodling's a good old time. And I go in to change my shoes. And my dad said, there's another surprise. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, you're moving out. I'm like, wow, cool. He goes, you got 30 days to find yourself a place to live. Boy, my eyes got about as big as a dinner plate. I'm like, where am I going to do that? He's, that's your problem, not mine. Heck, I've been farming and ranching all summer long and had me some money saved up. I had like $1,400 raised up. I was ready to get out on my own. $1,400, that's a lot of money to a senior in high school. Was in the 80s, it still is today. Some seniors don't graduate with 14 cents. So, first thing I did was decided that once I started pricing furnishings for my home, I wasn't going to get very far. I never owned no dishes before, so I had to buy some dishes. That cost me $200. And silverware. I had some really cool silverware. Had plastic handles. Steel handles. I thought they were awesome. I still have, you know, my gray plates with the black around the edge, those were the plates that I got. And I was really cool. I got salad plates and big people plates. And if I ever had company, I think what I got, 8 or 10 of them, I don't remember how many there are. But I got a kitchen table, had a desk. Oh, in Brody, I spent $600 because in the 80s, you weren't cool if you didn't have a water bed. Got me a water bed. Anybody in there ever slept on a water bed?
They're cool.
No, I
Yeah. Are they, y'all think they're fun? Boy, in the 80s, they were awesome. I think they still make them, I don't know. But I had to have one. Wow, I started looking and it's about the 15th and I still ain't found a place to live. When you leaving, starting to get a lot of stuff accumulated up there. You got a desk, you got a, holy cow. Now, I started thinking, I'm gonna have to have a job. And then I'm like, I hope I don't work too far away from my job because, dang, gas prices are expensive. Gas is about $1.20. I won't be able to survive if I have to buy very much gas. Gosh, we filled up your truck one night. It was what, almost $3, $3.10 when we filled it up. Yeah, gas is expensive. Wow. I better find a place close to work. Well, so guess what? At the end of my road was Calvin Mays Oilfield Service. Now, when I was about your age, Michaela, I went down and Calvin had come out to our house to do some work on a corral that my dad had cut some holes in with a cutting torch. And Dad said, you go work with him that day. And I asked him, I said, will you give me a job one day? So when I grow up, I want to work for you. It'll be fun. And he kind of laughed and said, you got to be 18. Shucks. I go down there and I'm like, hey, I heard you're looking for some employees. And he's like, yeah, but you aren't 18. I said, oh, yes, I am. I just turned 18 last week. Actually, 2 weeks ago. And he's like, shucks. You're half as good a hand as your dad is, I'll hire you. Awesome. I got a job. Now I'll have some more money coming in. I didn't ask what he paid. It wouldn't have made any difference. If he paid a penny an hour, I'd have taken it. I didn't know. I didn't have any clue. I'd have taken it. But he was a fair, honest guy, and he paid me a good day's wages. And shucks, it was off to the races. Well, halfway home from my first day's work, lo and behold, I find a house. Now, Brody, you know where the old dairy barn is? Yeah. About halfway between y'all's house and Calvin's, there was a little house there, and the lady had just moved out. Now, I remember meeting the lady when I was selling magazines my senior year. I'd stopped at her house and sold her some magazines. And I thought, it's a shame that your house, and I'm thinking this out in my mind. It's Friday night, I'm gonna go to town for the first time, deposit my big paycheck. I think it's about a whopping $235. I was rich. I was a rich man, Brody. I was rich, Dalton. I was king of the cowboy. Had me a nice oil field job, cool orange Ford truck. I am cool. I don't have a lot of friends, but I'm cool. And so I get through depositing my check, and I go to Sonic and get me a burger. Try to get me up the nerve to go talk to this little old lady. She's moved to town. It got too far for her to drive to town and get feed for her dog, so she's moved to town. And I just happened to know where she lives, so I went by her house and I said, rapped on the door. Wasn't smart enough to know she had an electric doorbell. Rapped on the door. Who is it? And I said, it's your old friend Kelly Hopper. Oh, well, come on in here. Why would you be stopping by to see me? And I said, I think it's a shame that your old house is vacant. Someone should live in that house. And she said, have you looked at that house? She caught me off guard a little bit. I'm like, no. And I said, no, ma'am, I haven't. You might ought to go by and look at that thing. Then give me a call and tell me what you think. I looked at it, had a window unit, 2 window units in there. I could stay cool. Man, that's good. Had a stove in it. Lucky, because I hadn't bought me a stove. Had a green refrigerator and a dishwasher in it. I'm going to be uptown. I'm going to be uptown. So I get this house rented. And I tell all my friends, now we have some place to go when you don't have any place to go. And guess what? Guess what I found out? Other than the people that I worked with, I had big whopping 0 friends. Wow. I wasn't very cool. Well, you're too far out there in the country. Did your friends ever tell you that, Brody? We can't go to Brody's house. Brody's too far out in the country. Ever say that to you, Dalton? We can't go over to Dalton's house. It's too far out in the country. Zach, your house is too far out there. We are not coming to your house, brother. It's too far. It's a long ways. So, okay. Now, all my friends from high school start moving away and getting jobs too. Some of them went to the military. Some of them went to work in the oil patch. I got some of them jobs with me. I don't carry Kincaid a job with me. But I just didn't think that I had any friends. And so I started making friends. I figured if I want to make friends, I got to work hard. So I started working harder. And some of those guys started respecting me. Shucks. Some of them were that I was working with were twice or 3 times as old as I was. Heck, I was just 18. Heck, some of them were 50. When I worked hard, those guys started respecting me. You know, if you'll try to make friends with the bullies and you'll work hard, those guys will start respecting you too. You know, they start seeing you ride bulls, they're going to respect you. You're going to be stronger than they are. You play instruments, you play football, you can show hogs, you can ride horses. You got, man, we're gonna have to come to your house
We
one
have
day.
about 22 horses.
There's about 22 horses that can be ridden at Brianna's house.
No, it's written, but you have to seriously bend down like that.
Oh, some of them are short. Well, my son's short. He ought to be able to ride that. Now, there's a go-kart over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have to go there and visit.
Yeah.
Have a little, make a little gathering of it. Brody, there's places Brody can take you fishing over. Dang, my fishing pole is dusty. I ain't been fishing lately. You know what? I hadn't been fishing since we found out Jake was gonna be born. Why haven't I? Well, it was a drought, number one, but number two, shucks, I had something else to worry about. Now, everybody's got something. There's all kinds of cool stuff to look at your house. Heck, one of the coolest stories that I heard was when we went down to my papa's house, Zach. He was talking about how he learned to be a mechanic. His family was Papa's family was all mechanically inclined. And one day, the boys were like 12 to 15 years old, and there was a couple of old cars out back. And he was going to take them and have them, his grandpa was going to take them and have them crushed. I said, what are you going to do with those? We're going to go crush them. Why? Because they don't run. Oh, really? Well, would you keep them if they ran? He's like, probably so. They started stealing parts off of them, started turning them into a running truck. Before long, they had a truck that ran. Was it pretty? No. Shucks, but they were the first ones to come up with camo paint job back in the 50s. They painted it up cool.
Yeah.
Painted up cool. No one did any different. No one had ever seen camo before. They were awesome. They were awesome. Do you ever want anybody to say in the same sentence with your name, awesome? Everybody wants that, don't they? Everybody wants to be loved. Well, man's got to have some skills. You got some horse riding skills. You got some hog raising skills. You got football skills. Brody's got wrestling skills. You got bull riding skills. You got some skills, some amazing skills. And guess what? Let's share our skills with each other. Now, one of my amazing skills was fist fighting. I woke up this morning and I guess what was on?
UFC.
UFC, you got it. And guess guess who I saw get whooped in his first match back in UFC?
Who was it?
Brock Lesnar. He got pounded in 1:23 seconds. I'm looking at this other guy and I'm going, doesn't he know that Brock Lesnar's a big bully? Doesn't he know? He didn't care. And when they interviewed him before the fight started, this other fella goes, I don't care. And he said, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to at least knock him out by the second round.
You gotta have a mentality to fight. If you don't think you're gonna win, you're gonna lose.
There you go. There you go. And that's what I always said. That's why I could never be whooped, because I didn't care if you, I didn't care. I did not care. You couldn't hurt me any worse than I was already hurting inside. I didn't have anything to lose. When you fought me, you had no chance to win because I didn't care. I didn't care how long it took. And the funny thing was, after about 5 months of living in that house. I pull into Sonic one night. What are you doing, Tex? That's what they said to me. They tried to have like a southern cowboy drawl to me, you know, because I'm a cowboy. I'm getting a burger. And he said, I think we ought to just fight. And I said, well, you got two problems here, buddy. And this guy was a racer. He had a fast, I think it was a Malibu. And he said, I want to race your truck. And I said, I'm a 4-wheel drive. I said, you got that fast Malibu that'll do about 120 and a quarter? What are you going to prove if you beat a 4-wheel drive? Well, nothing really, but just to say I beat you. And I'm like, who cares if you beat me? And so the story goes on a little bit farther. Well, I think we ought to just fight. I said, good. How many buddies are with you? There's about 6 or 7 of them. And I said, this would be a good place for a fight. Just reached over behind the toolbox of my pickup and pulled out a stick about that long, about as big around as my wrist on one end, about that big on the other end. I said, you want to fight? Fight's on. And I swung that stick as hard as I could swing it. And you can ask Miss Jane that owns the Sonic. She was there. She was the car hop then. She wasn't the owner. She was the car hop then. I rattled the roof on that stinking Sonic. And I said, fight's on. About half of them boys kind of get a glassy-eyed look in there. Are you kidding me? We don't want to fight you. One guy went to Votech. I know him. He's from Guthrie. Shucks, he's got a cute girl about y'all's age in high school. Goes to church all the time. Amazing young lady. And he's like, okay, well, I don't want to fight you. Good. That makes 2 of us. And I said, we got a choice. We can fight or party. Everybody decided they wanted to party, and then my house wasn't too far out. Now, this story ain't about partying. This story is about bullies. But I made friends with those guys, and to this day, every one of them is still my friend. If I called John Noble right now and was having problems with my truck, he could come help me. He could tell me what part, if it was a Chevy, he could tell me exactly what parts to get for it, and he would. We're still friends to this day. His wife, both of his daughters are friends of mine on Facebook. But more than being friends on Facebook, we'll talk. Shucks, if John walked by here right now and saw me in here having youth group, he'd come in and listen. Corey would come in and listen. She'd come in and listen because she likes Jesus. Now, we got to figure out what skills we got, and we got to use them to make friends. Rhodey's a good wrestler. Shucks. What do you think would happen if you just pulled up and Sonic down there and goes, who in here, when all the other kids are driving around Sonic on Friday night, who in here wants to wrestle? Y'all just went over and wrestled in the grass. You'd probably make some friends, wouldn't you? Now, it'd be an odd thing to happen, wouldn't it, Dalton? It'd be really odd. Now, that being said, use your skill. Heck, we got drums in here. I ought to be bringing somebody in here that play drums. That boy that comes in here we bring that plays drums is going to go, dang, I know a guy that plays bass guitar. Bass guitarist is going to get here and go, we can't play bass without having some other guitar players. They'll see them fiddles, they'll see the organ, they'll see the piano. Heck, they're going to want to come. Have we invited any of our friends? Have we told our friends, well, we don't have any great musical skills, but we got some instruments? Did y'all ever invite anybody else? Invite some people. They may not be your friends yet. They may not even know who Jesus is. It's youth group. Worst case scenario, you're going to get a good meal. Heck, I've made a lot of friends with good meals. That's how I made friends with Brody. Shucks, he wanted to learn to cook. Now, I won't tell anybody where you wanted to be able to go cook when you told me that day, but I'm like, I can teach you to cook way better than that, didn't I? Brody's a good chef. If I just had an open wallet, we had all the money we needed, I'm gonna tell you, Brody could have an amazing food set up for us every single week, because he got the skills. Now, you guys are gonna have to help him. Somebody's gonna have to carry out the trash. Somebody's gonna have to clean the tables. Somebody's gonna have to do the shopping. Somebody's gonna have to, shucks. Who's doing the shopping right now? I am. I was late tonight. Walmart was packed full of people.
Yeah, why is everyone here?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Where'd everybody come from? Hey, we gotta make friends. What skills do you have? Now, as we scoot into part 2 of this, how many of you see people at your school that need friends? Yeah. They may not be like everybody else. They may not have a cool burnt orange shirt like me. They may not feel cool because they don't have this shirt. I saw this shirt at Walmart and I said, buy it. I'm gonna have that shirt. This is cool.
Is it OSU?
Well, not because this isn't even really OSU color. It's more Texas Longhorns color, but I didn't buy it because of that. Heck, Mac Brown lost his job. Think he's still got friends? Yeah. There are people in Texas that are mad because Mac Brown ain't their football coach anymore. But do you think his friends have forsaken him because he don't have that cool job anymore? Nope. They still admire him because he's the man. He's the benchmark. And we got to get to where you're the benchmark. There'll come a time in your life that, Brianna, you're the benchmark and everybody's looking up to you and you're going, wow. Can you run barrels as good as Sherry Serby? Not today, but guess what? You were watching her on the NFR. You couldn't you? Now, people may laugh at your little bike, Zach, but guess what? You're showing hogs. You could have the next grand champion hog in the county, and guess what? That's going to pay some pretty good money.
I hope so.
And you can use it towards your college fund.
Yeah,
Use some of that money to buy some more hogs. Use some of that money to buy you a nicer vehicle. Brody, heck, if some of these restaurants knew what kind of cooking skills you had, you think they'd put you to work? In about 3.2. People that are working cattle, they find out you're a bull rider, they're going, hey, can you help me catch some calves today? I'll vaccinate some calves. They're going to come looking for you. People that watched you on the football field, dog, they're going to go, Dalton, you are a champion. I need you on my team. I need you on my team. Guess what? August of 2014, he won't be a champion anymore. Somebody else will be playing for that. Or he can decide in his mind, I'm always going to be a champion, and I'm just going to keep moving up. Am I right, Dalton? Absolutely. Now, use the skills we got to make friends. You know what? You got a cool pickup, Brody. Needs a little work, don't it? Shucks, make friends. friends with somebody that can help you work on it, show you how to work on it. Heck, who knows what marketable skills we got? Shucks, could you crawl under there and weld on it if you needed to? Yeah, 'cause Cody and Jerry taught you, didn't they?
Yeah.
See, we got some skill. Well, I didn't know Brody could weld. Heck, you may have something at your house that needs welded up, Brianna. Who you gonna call? My friend Brody, because he can weld. Not only can he cook, he can weld. Zach can weld. Dalton, you got some other marketable skills out there. Have you learned to weld while you're over at Wyatt's?
Kinda.
Kind of, okay. Hey, now we got several welders. Heck, we might build a big project. Who knows? Somebody that's watching this video may say, hey, I want to see these boys have a rodeo arena, and guess what? We could build our own. Or we might team up with Brianna and we could go down there and fix the one she got. Shucks. That'd be a novel idea. We're just going to move up. Should we use our friends? Jesus wants us to use ourselves, our skills, and our friends. Now, there's probably something, Brody, that you're not real good at. Anything you're not real good at? Can you sew your socks up?
Yeah.
You can't? Shucks.
Can you ride a motorcycle?
Yeah.
He can ride a motorcycle. Oh, he can ride a motorcycle.
Can you snowboard?
Probably, I should try.
If you try, see, if
Okay.
you try it, everything you can succeed if you want to do it.
There you go. Now, we're going to make friends because we're cool. Now, how many of you have wore your youth group shirts out and somebody seen it and said, that's cool? Any of you?
No, I haven't.
Gotta get you one. Got to get you one. What do they say when you wear your...
Haven't.
You haven't? Oh, real